Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents Scents. Hope you're well. I don't know if you've noticed this, but over the years, Armaf have released a couple of Club de Nuit fragrances. I dropped that one. Yes, Club de Nuit, one of the biggest clone fragrance lines of all time. And now there is a new one. None other than Club de Nuit Bling. It's the Bling King. It's, I don't know. My favorite part about this, the bottle, large. The fragrance inside, small. What? Now I have to move all these. If I just. They're mainly out of the way, right? Yeah, just, all you 50s stay over there. Yes, this is the new Club de Nuit Bling for men, which was just released. I ordered it off of Armaf's website and I bought a second one so that one of you guys can get one as well. We'll talk about that later. There's no room over there, so back onto Craig Jr. it goes. A lot of people who haven't watched this channel, like, who is Craig Jr.? Craig Jr. And since I bought this directly from Armaf's website, it ran me $79.99. So times two, $160 for the two bottles. And this one is different. Yes, this is very different compared to all the other Club de Nuit releases. This one is actually done with creative direction by somebody, which I don't think that's really happened with these ones over here ever. Ibrahim Al-Samadi did the creative direction here. Quite popular, I believe, in the Middle East. I am not sure who that is, but I saw it on the website and I saw it on Instagram. There's a lot more to talk about with this fragrance though, including the notes, the size again, and just a lot of different things. But first, let's take a look at the presentation. First, the box. On the front of the box, you can see the name of the fragrance and also the concentration, Club de Nuit Eau de Parfum. Kind of looks like a bunch of stars in the sky, perhaps, something like that. Armaf up top, it has this kind of rainbow styling to it. So when the light hits it, it turns into a rainbow effect. You have Eau de Parfum on one side of the box. On the other, it says Club de Nuit. On the back, you have your sticker of authenticity. You have your ingredients and your concentration once again. And on the bottom, you have your badge code. My bottle made October 2025, which means this is a brand new bottle. So if you're one of the types who says that all clone fragrances need to mature, be aware of that. Now let's take a closer look at the bottle. It's kind of cool looking, I've got to say. When I saw the pictures online, I was not a massive fan, and some people are still gonna find this, tacky or whatever, but I think it looks pretty cool actually. So you can see it's a larger bottle than your typical 105 ml size. And then on the inside, you have these little black crystals that are inside of the glass itself. So it gets this kind of like reflective vibe anytime the light hits it. It says Armaf Bling on the medallion on the front of the bottle. Your typical Club de Nuit style cap. It says Club de Nuit also on one side of the bottle, which is where you'll also find your badge code etched into the glass. Then on the bottom, you have a little more batch information and also sticker as well. The cap does click into place. There's like a little signature right here on the little metal plate on top of the bottle. Let's go ahead and do a couple sprays. Check it out. Not too bad. And there's the presentation. So kind of interesting in the sense that it's a 75 ml bottle, which is the equivalent of this as far as how much is held inside here. But as you can see, it towers over the 75 ml size bottle. And as I showed before, is even bigger than the 105. So yeah, kind of strange with that. And then the note breakdown, also a little different. It is not a complex note breakdown. There are 5 notes, but those notes have some surprises. So citrus is the top note, or citruses, which is not a surprise. But then into the mid, it has flower prism and stardust, which I am not familiar with how either a flower prism or a stardust or multiple dusts from the stars, how those smell. And then in the base, there is vanilla, vanilla, and then velvet woods. To be fair to velvet woods, that does sound more normal than flower prism though, so there is that. Ultimately, none of that matters if the fragrance smells absolutely fantastic, but you are going to have some people who see that note breakdown and they go like, what does this mean? It's marketing, obviously, but what is it supposed to be? What's it supposed to smell like? Like, how does a stardust smell. And before we dive even deeper into this one, I want to give you some codes that you can dive into. You can use these across a bunch of different websites if you want to save yourself some money. So we've got codes for JOMASHOP, Fragflex, the Perfume Box, and many more stores. Anytime you shop there, use those codes, save yourself some cash. And if you find yourself on TikTok for some reason, throw me a follow there at Gents. And the first thing that you would maybe think of when you see Club de Nuit Bling is that, oh, well, it's a Club de Nuit, so it's gonna be a Ventus, right? Because when it comes to Club de Nuit, when it comes to Armaf and Club de Nuit, a Ventus is something that they know pretty well. I'm trying to grab all of them and like half of these look the same. I'm like, which one is which? So all of these right here, these are all Ventus. All these Club de Nuits that I have right here. So you would think to yourself, do you really need another Ventus style fragrance? And I would say, probably not. I mean, just, probably not. All right, guys, get out of here. But that would be your first thought. Is this just a Ventus again with a small twistintus? And I would say, no. To me, it is absolutely not just a Ventus again with a twistintus. When you first spray on Armaf Club de Nuit Bling, you do get citrus. A lot of citrus. And it's gonna be a little bit love it or hate it, depending on how you like your citrus and fragrances. Because when it first hits, it is tart to the extent that it's almost sour. So like a sour citrus, but then also a little bit rindy, fresh and zingy at the same time. Almost as reminiscent of a heady mango to an extent, just the way the citrus comes across. So a fragrance that I love, and it doesn't smell the exact same as that, but just to give you some context, Light Blue Forever from Dolce & Gabbana. That one, when it opens up, big blast of citrus, and it's rindy, it's tart, and also fresh, but a lot of people did not really jive with that because they were like, this opening is just like, I don't like the sour aspect. You get some of that coming across here. When that citrus hits, it hits. And I'll say the first couple times I smelled it, I was kind of like, I'm not sure, man. A little odd. Not what I was expecting, I'll say that much. Upon third, fourth, fifth time smelling it, I did come around to enjoy it more. But just be aware, that opening, the way the citrus hits, a little heady, potentially even a little bit funky, a little rindy, but also has a nice fresh aspect to it as well. Does it remind me of a Ventus? No. Now there is a fragrance that uses mango that smells like a Ventus, and that is Blockade by Mind Games. It has kind of a green mango. And if you were wanting to draw a comparison in an opening to an Ventus style fragrance, that would probably be the one that it's somewhat closest to. But to me though, it's still not Blockade. It's not like, oh, you just wear this and it's the same thing. No. Now, as this one dries down, that citrus obviously going to fade away, and then it becomes more of a musky kind of scent profile. So that flower prism, stardust kind of vibe, it ends up coming across, just musky, a little clean, some powdery vanilla underneath gives you some sweetness, but not overdone, not overdosed, just this kind of supporting role is what it's playing. And that musky sort of clean vibe fades into the dry down where the velvet woods take over, which is kind of like a mix of like cashmeran and amber woods or something, where it's not full on as fizzy, staticky smelling as cashmeran can come across when it's really overdosed. It's a very smoothed out form of that. And it does have this light, warm aspect to the fragrance. It's got this cozy sort of backbone to it, but it still has that light ambroxan, amber woody sort of feel to it as well. And truth be told, with this fragrance, I don't really have anything, at least not that's popping into my mind, that I think of as this being a replacement for it. So it's not really one of the Club de Nuits that smells straight up like, oh, this or oh, that, which definitely makes it stand out amongst all the other Club de Nuits, because with all of these, it's like, okay, BR 540, right? Or Aventus or Millesime Imperial. Like they all have something where you can tell what it is. A lot of times it's reflected in the bottle language itself, like the color scheme and everything. With this one, I almost wonder if they went, well, we're collaborating with this person, let's do something where it's more like their own kind of thing. Maybe there's bits and bobs of other fragrances in here, but to me, it doesn't come across as like, oh, this you would wear in place of this, right? Not like a straight up one-to-one or even close enough for me to say, well, 85%, but with a twist. And saying that, amongst all the other Club de Nuits, it's definitely unique. I do think the opening is gonna scare a whole lot of people away. And I think that the mid through the dry down maybe doesn't have enough oomph to really capture people's attention in a big way. And talking back on that opening one more time, I mentioned before, but I actually really like it now. The citrus is kind of, a little funky, and I dig that because it's different in the opening. But that is, again, gonna be one of those things that for some people, they don't want that to be different, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the fragrance itself, how it comes across to me. The performance here, again, bottles from October, but not really powerful. The opening has a big burst, that citrusy sort of pop, very strong. But then once that settles, it wears more like a second skin. It lingers for a good amount of time, so it'll stick around. It's just, if you're expecting it to be like some of the other Club de Nuits where they just like really scream for hours, grab a ton of attention, this one is a little bit more subtle, which that may be a surprise to you because you look at this, bling. It's like we've got money and we're showing it off, right? We're being loud, we're being ostentatious here. We've got all the crystals and they're reflecting light and everything, and the boxes reflecting light and turning it into rainbows and all this stuff. You would expect, it's gonna be super loud, right? Flower prism in your face. In actuality, I think compared to pretty much all the other Club de Nuit fragrances I have, this one sits the closest to the skin. It puts the fragrance on the skin or else it gets the hose again. This is Silence of the Lambs. We're close to Halloween, it counts, it's whatever. Don't judge me. Now that performance does come with a caveat, which is, like I said, this is from October. This bottle has not matured. And so there is always that possibility that, I spray it on 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now, and it really is pumping out, the projection is amplified. If you guys heard that ding, 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 ding from the bottle, I'm sorry. Oh, where was I? Oh yeah, it's possible that happens, that this, gets better projection and everything, but where it is right now, it lingers, it lasts, but it is more of a second skin type fragrance where, you go in for a whiff and you're like, huh? Oh, there it is. And while you're moving around, you might catch these subtle wafts, but it's not gonna really smack you in the face like some of these others will. Now, in terms of seasonality, it is quite versatile. I think you could wear this daytime or evening, either one. The opening maybe leans a little more daytime use, but then the dry down leans maybe a little more evening use, so you can kind of pull it off whenever. And then in terms of the seasons, for me, probably spring, fall, kind of like neutral weather is best. And then summer, winter, you could pull it off at either one, just adjust your sprays as necessary, keeping in mind that it is going to be somewhat more close to the skin as it dries down, which that's actually every fragrance ever, but you know what I'm saying. And of course, as is always the case, this will be at discounters very soon, if it is not already by the time this video goes live. So if you're really interested in this one, it's gonna pop up all over the place probably in the next week or two. So overall, Club de Nuit Bling is, like I said at the beginning of the video, interesting. They're trying something new, getting involved with somebody else, kind of leading the creative direction, and in doing so, it feels like to me trying to do something that is a little bit more their own style, instead of directly taking something else and saying, let's do that. Now it is of course completely and entirely possible, if not plausible, that this is a clone of something else out there that I just don't own or haven't smelled. That's entirely possible. The closest thing that I could think of is, again, Blockade-ish off the top, which maybe makes sense. Blockade, Bling, they both start with BL, and their color schemes are somewhat similar as well. Oh my God, it's just Blockade. Realistically though, I think there are enough differences between that one and this one that you say there's a little inspiration there, but it's not the exact same. Obviously I'm filming this a different day, but one thing that's popped up is this is supposed to be this. Chanel Allure Homme Sport Edition Blanche. And I have to say, if this is trying to be this, no. Edition Blanche over here, yes, has citrus, has vanilla, but this is more of like a lemon meringue pie type of fragrance as it's been described a million times. Yes, fresh, but also creamy and sweet. Whereas this one over here is off the top more tangy and has that kind of light funkiness to it. They don't smell alike in the opening. In fact, I'm wearing both of these right now. Here and here. And then as they dry down, to me, they're not that close either. Would I wear this in place of this? No. Do I think this is that close to this? Also, No. All right, let's do the giveaway. Here it is, Club de Nuit Bling, still sealed, all that good stuff, direct from Armaf, or their website anyway. If you wanna be entered in the giveaway, like the video, subscribe to the channel, whatever, like the channel, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know, what is your favorite Club de Nuit? You gotta have one, there's a billion of them, pick one. Which one is it? I will pick a winner with random comment picker, posted up on the post tab of the YouTube channel. If you are the winner, you will get bling. All right, guys, that will do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me here until the end. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.